Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jenn Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson. I hope you're having a super great day. I'm here with my business partner from Elite Online Publishing, Jenn Foster. How you doing, Jenn?
I'm doing great. It's a great day today.
Absolutely. So first off, remember to subscribe to our podcast and share it with your friends and leave us a comment. But it's also a super great day because we have a super fantastic, amazing guest today. All right. If you want to know about business and how to grow a business, how to scale a business, how to be successful at business, you should learn from the best, someone who's done it, who has been super successful. We have Tim Redmond here today, who started a software company that sold for over $62 million. So do you think he knows a few things about business? And he coaches businesses all the time. So we are so blessed and so honored to have him on our show today. Tim, thanks for coming.
This is awesome to be here, ladies. This is really a treat here to talk to you.
Well, Tim, tell us a little bit about your background and how you started out as an entrepreneur and how you build your company up.
Yeah, I was born at an early age. Bad, real bad. Let's scratch that. Let's start over. No, actually, I'm one of 11 kids. Can you believe that? My parents either loved sex or loved kids or both. I don't know what, but we probably want to start all over from that too. So, no, I've had an interest in business. My background is being a CPA. Constant pain in the abdomen. That's what that stands for. So I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then I was looking for something else to do here because I didn't enjoy the accounting world as much. So I joined this guy and we built up the software company, and I learned tons of lessons here. 15 years. We built it up from just a couple $100,000 a year to just about $40 million a year. And then we sold it to Intuit. Like you said, you did your research there. And then I went to work for them because we had about 22,000 clients, kicked them over to the new company. And then I traveled around under a nonprofit or ministry. And I trained leaders, pastors, business leaders, government leaders, in how to grow organizations. So all the lessons I learned over these years. And then I started really a coaching program because people kept asking me for coaching at the end of these seminars. And I'm like, well, let's sit down, let's talk about it. So I spent an hour or two with them and help them out, not realizing that people actually have a business called coaching that they get paid for. And so I just kind of turned that into say, people would ask me, well, do you do coaching? I go, sure. And then I just make up something on the spot. We just start coaching. So coaching kind of bit me in the rear, and but I love it. And we're growing. It's kind of a phase one of what we're doing, which is building up several hundred businesses that we coach. And phase two is going to be really focused on buying businesses so that my coaches can run those businesses. So anyway, a lot of fun.
That's amazing. What a great story. And congratulations to all that success. So let's dive into how you help businesses. It seems like your first step is to evaluate where they are versus where they need to be first. So what are the things that you do when you first go in and start working with a company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually provide this growth plan, and the growth plan will analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the business. We'll look at their business model that they're currently working with. Then we'll ask them, okay, so where do you want to be in 3 years? So they may be at 200,000 or $1 million, and they say, well, I want to grow from $500,000 to $3 million. I said, great. Okay. So let's build a new business model that's going to help you ramp that up without killing you in the process. So we create a new business model for them. And then during the growth plan, we'll give them probably 8 to 10 concrete action steps that they can take on their own, or we're a coaching company that we're kind of a do it for you coaching company. So they're busy in their business. So we actually do most of the work that we coach them in. And so we either work with them or they take these ideas and they run with it. And that's kind of how it is. But it's got to be real practical. There's everybody that is out there that's a business coach that I don't know how much they've grown on their own. I'm not downing that, but it's just, we run into a lot of clients that are upset trying other companies. That's most of our folks, they've tried somebody else and they're almost mad at us. I go, well, let's mess up before you get mad at us. So, but I had one guy that was came in from San Antonio, and Texans, they take their time talking, right? I probably shouldn't say that here, but he's like, yeah, you guys are real. And I'm like, we're real. What do you mean we're real? He says, well, I've tried 4 other companies here, and you guys, everything you guys said you do, you're actually doing it. It's real. So anyway, I know that sounds like an advertising, but that's really what we're after. We're let's get real results on that. So
I love
what
that.
you guys do, with how you help people. So
Yeah, well, I think it's very unique to be a coaching company that actually implements. A lot of times, coaches will just say, do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the company is very busy. They're doing lots of things, so they don't execute. And then they wonder why they're not getting results, right? But for a company to execute and actually do it for you, I think that's great. That's really unique.
I didn't start out that way though, Jen.
Yeah.
I started out saying, blah, here's 29 things to do, and here's 7 things you got to get done, boom, 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 and do these 317 steps to simplifying your life, and just horrible, just rude to people. And then I go, I'm not getting results, and people leave me, and I can't handle that rejection. So so we just said, well, why don't we actually do the work for you? And let's start implementing. So it's true, really, the school of hard knocks, school colors, black and blue, right? And learn through hard knocks that, hey, let's help you implement, and we'll get you to point A to point B. So
what do you think some of the biggest system block that you have, like when you walk into a business that you see most common, and it could be multiple, that you're like, oh man, these systems don't work?
Right. Well, the first thing the most obvious thing is to us is they haven't defined what Seth Godin calls as the purple cow. He wrote that book 20 years ago. He was driving, he actually talks about in the book, he's driving down, coming out of Paris in the countryside, passing these farms, and his kids in the back, and look at the cows, and look at the cows. And so after about 5 farms, they're like, we've already seen all the cows. So he thought, well, if there was a bright, shiny purple cow in the middle of those brown and black and white cows, they'd still be talking about it today. And so what makes their business or their service unique? What makes it stand out? So we don't really take time to get that distinction. We don't wrestle through that. Well, I'm just like everybody else. Okay, well, that's how people are going to look at you. And then, so we go through and really define that purple cow, Melanie, and then we give them the no-brainer offer. We begin to make it easy to have a conversation, to say, let's have it easy to take the first step. So it's just those most of who we work with are contractors, home builders, electricians, or plumbers. So they're really good at their craft, but they're not good at what you guys are good at, selling, and really, where do you want to go, and what does your business do? And so we help people do that. And then most people don't have a real, they really don't have a sales process. They just throw things against the wall, and sometimes they get orders, sometimes they don't. So we help them get a sales process going usually too. So
that's great. And what would you say is the biggest mistake that business owners make that stops them from growing or from making more profit?
Well, I think on the marketing, what we just talked about, not really knowing how, why should people choose them over their competitor, and just really having a good answer for that. But another thing that I have found is that a lot of entrepreneurs, we get up on Monday morning, our hair's on fire, we're running like crazy to get to the weekend, trying to survive. And we've all had these kind of days. And so I as much as I can, we provide all kinds of medicine for our clients to calm them down. And I'm just kidding on that, but just there's a whole idea of calming down. Now, both of you are high energy people, true, right? So what we do is we get them to say, listen, if you will get into this daily ritual of power planning. So we take a look at, all your emails and all your text messages and voice messages. And then we get a pattern of like 5 or 6 or 7 questions that they should ask every morning to help them think through their business. Just doing that, their hair is less on fire. They're less trying to put out fires, and they're being more proactively growing their business, working on their business instead of being controlled and a slave of it.
I love that, because it's like that power hour. Instead of diving in, waking up and growing, open up your computer and starting in on your emails, which all your emails are like, do this, do that, do this, do that. Instead, it's taking just your mindset. I love that.
Right. Yeah.
What are some of the questions that you've developed for some of your business owners? Give us some examples of what those
questions my gosh. You would get right. You just don't let anything rest, do you, Melanie? Okay.
I'm getting right in there. I want the good dirt.
Okay. So like with contractors, really every business has a pipeline, right? A pipeline is prospects you're wanting to get after. There's people you're starting conversations with. You're getting close to getting a quote out there. You got a quote out there. You're trying to get the contract. You've got the contract. Now you got the delivery. So we like to ask questions about the pipeline. How are we doing on this part, the prospecting part of our pipeline? How are we doing with people that are close to asking for a quote but haven't asked for it? How are we doing with our quotes? Do we have some kind of follow-up? Usually, again, their hair's on fire and they're just running through the day trying to survive, and there's no follow-up, and if you try to call like most contractors, first of all, they don't answer the phone, or if they do, it's like, clueless city, right? Mm-hmm. And hey, I'll get back to you. And it's like getting back to them within the next decade really promptly, right? It's just, it's horrible. So lack of follow-up, lack of follow-through is like the biggest holes in the business of just draining money. Lack of follow-up, lack of follow-through. So when we're able to get people to really, ask about where they are in their pipeline and to actively work their pipeline. Why? Okay, so I'm sure you've had clients like this. Oh, we're so busy. And then stop, and then just complete famine. Why? Because they haven't been working all aspects, all stages of their pipeline. It's just on or off. So those are questions we have. We have a question on how are my staff doing? What staff needs my attention today? What staff needs public recognition for kicking butt and taking names? Those are questions. How are my numbers? So like I believe in creating a cadence in your business. So a cadence is you create a predictable week, as predictable as you can, with all the stuff flying all over the place, right? So every week you're going to meet with your key people that's over this aspect of the business. Every week I meet with, like yesterday, I just met with my accountant a half hour every week. Boom, here's what's going on. Here's some concerns. Here's some follow-up. Here's what the tax guy needs, or whatever it may be. So I'm close to my numbers on that. Every day, my son, which you guys notice that I work with one of my, I got 4 above average children, thanks to my wife. One of them works in the business, and so he oversees the sales. So every day he's checking out, where are the numbers, where are we at, how are we doing? So it's just that follow up and follow through, setting those KPIs. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but setting those key measurements we look at, and then we have a feedback do loop where we meet with that person and says, how are we doing with this? And so
I like that, as checking in. I think as entrepreneurs, we definitely get into the mundane parts of the business and forget to check in. So checking your numbers and doing all those things, I think, are key. Tell us a little bit, Tim, about your book that you wrote, Power to Create.
Okay, Power to Create. So let's pull it out here. Boom, here we go. All right. So I wrote this book, and I dove into one of the most sensitive topics in the world, on money and wealth. And so I actually wrote it from a Christian point of view, or a faith point of view, or a Bible point of view, although it's written in a way that people just, even all over, all kinds of beliefs here, they've just read it and give me some great feedback on it. But it's really teaching people on looking at what wealth and the wealth process is with a completely set of different eyes. So I redefined wealth, and I wrote it for pastors and business owners, but really anybody wants to grow anything. I redefine wealth not as something that you get to come to you, you gather, like we like wealth, like I've got $1 billion in the bank, if you do, I will be your friend. I promise you guys. I'll be a lot nicer to you, that's for sure. But wealth is not something necessarily comes to us. Wealth is something that flows from us. And it's not just this abstract thing. Wealth, very simply, is creating value to serve others. So it may be a hug, it may be a kind word, it may be showing people the 10-3-3 and how to write, a book, or your legacy, or on some of the key aspects that you've shared, Jen, in your book, in some of your books, on just creating compelling videos. And so you're creating value to serve others. And when you focus on that, you can create even without that much money, even without that much things. I remember speaking at a huge church in Nova Iguaçu, just outside of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And I was talking about how one guy in North Carolina had heard what I said, and they started a janitorial service. And it, like, within a year, it grew to like 20 people. And he was going from like barely paying his bills to like, he's like, man, he's driving around on top of the world. And so the pastor told me later on this, there's some guy that heard that story and he started a business. And within 3 months, he had a whole team working for him. You think, well, yeah, but this is in, Brazil is fairly developed, but there's a lot of poor areas in there. And he just started from scratch. He was unemployed, trying to provide for his family. And now he's got this thriving business. I talk about in here, the first chapter is the pancake lady. Okay. So who's the pancake lady? I was in doing some leadership training in this, down in Costa Rica, which is a great place to be. And I was doing this thing for this pastor, and I said, wow, this is in the small village, this huge 4,000 seat auditorium. I said, how did you build this in this place here? I'm just, asking the obvious. He goes, well, I give a lot of the credit to, this lady we call the pancake lady. Well, who's the pancake lady? And says, well, it's like I challenge everybody to take what they have and just pour into it and try to multiply it. And I remember giving a few people after the service equivalent to a couple of dollars, and to take this and multiply it. And I came to this lady whose husband has left her, and she got 3 kids and struggling. And everybody knows she's just struggling like crazy. I mean, my hat's off to both you ladies. I'm telling you, you guys are heroes. Okay. Read some of your background, and you guys
Thank
are
you.
pedestals of me. And I get emotional about it. Just anyway. So cornered this lady and says, you've got to have something. I don't have any talent. I don't have any, the only thing I know how to do is make pancakes, and everybody knows how to make pancakes. And so we diminish what we have. Well, go buy some pancake mix and do whatever, and you make as many pancakes as you can and come early to where the merchants are. And a lot of times they run into their stores to open up, and they're coming late, and they haven't eaten, and they'll buy your pancakes. I don't think anybody's going to buy my pancakes. Well, she came running in the next day and said, they bought all my pancakes. And she started a business, and it grew and grew and grew until finally she became like one of the wealthier people in the church. And she sparked an economic revolution in this entire village. I mean, a lot of young people were moving out because there's no future. I mean, it's an amazing story. True story, believe it or not, is Pastor Soto. These are the stories I love. So anybody can do it.
I love that. That's so inspiring. And, I'm kind of going to reach back to you. We said the questions you ask yourself every day. And I love in your book, you talk about starting Monday with God. So yeah, tell me the story behind that and explain it.
Well, okay. So, I love you, you get after stuff. So all right. So there's a chapter in that book that says God loves Monday morning as much as Sunday morning. Okay. And for those that worship on Sunday, there's a lot of people worship on Saturday, and that's fine. You can worship on Wednesday. I don't care what, do whatever you want to do. But traditionally in America, we go to church on Sunday. And so God loving Monday morning is, we think that we go to church and we go see God, and we go away, and he kind of like waits for next Sunday for us to see him. No, I like to say he co-creates with us. In the first verse of the Bible, he created us in his image to create with us. And so when we show up at our work, and whether we're making widgets or we're carving out things or hammering nails or whatever we're doing, God is involved in that because we're involved in it, and he loves the creative process. And I think that he's as excited, he, she, however you want to refer to God. I'm not here to try to proselytize people, but however you look at God, God loves the creative process, and he's like, it's like when you're working, I feel like the smile of God is much on me here as when I spoke to 20,000 people, in a large auditorium. So that's what I mean by that.
Oh, it's like you're carrying God with you every day with whatever you're doing. And if you keep that in your mind, I think it gives you a different energy and a different feel and a different vibration that you're giving off to everyone that you meet.
Yeah. Imagine this. Now, you guys have probably never run into this, but I've run into people that just tolerate me. All right. So it's like, yeah, you're here. So what? But we think that God tolerates us, and God is like, I am at my kids, like my daughter. She's just an amazing human. She's in her first year of dental school, but she played volleyball as a kid. And, I did get kicked out of the auditorium a few times. Okay. I was into it, but I mean, I was totally into it, and just boom, 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 like this. And my excitement for my own offspring, as much as I love them, pales in comparison to what I think God feels about working with you two ladies and what you're doing. That he's not just tolerating us, he's totally into what we're doing. So anyway, that's the Sunday school lesson, I guess, for the day. I don't know.
I like that. And I think it's true that a lot of us, just think about that on a Sunday, or think about that on whatever day, we're worshiping, instead of thinking about it throughout the whole week, right? Yeah. Allowing God to be with us all the time, and not just when you're at church or when you're reading the Bible or reading whatever you read. Yeah. Well, tell us, Tim, where you have a gift for us, right? For our listeners. You have a gift to give them. Tell us about that.
Okay. So for those that own their own business, What I'd like to do is, we talked about the growth plan. I'd like to provide people the growth plan if they identify themselves and they say they love Jen and Melanie, okay, and leave you a 5-star review. If they will identify, the online Elite Online Publishing, or however their thing, and they identify that, we normally charge $2,500 for the growth plan, because we bring them through, we develop all these tools, this model, and then we say this will generate no less than an additional $100,000 of profit in the next 12 months. So it's very valuable that we do, but we're going to waive that fee free of charge if they identify themselves as loving you guys and they own a business. So boom. And then get a hold of me at redmondgrowth.com or Tim at redmondgrowth, or if they want to look me up and call me up, if I don't talk to them and they want to talk to me, just ask and I'll be glad to talk to them. So
I want to
Perfect.
encourage everyone to do that, because sometimes you might feel vulnerable, like, oh, he's going to look at my business. Oh, I don't know if I want him to see everything. And people, as much as they want to take advantage, they get a little nervous that
Right.
it's like kind of looking under the hood. They're like, oh, they're going to look under my hood and I'm going to get criticized, or I might not be doing it right. And so they get afraid to be vulnerable that way. So I want to make sure, encourage you all to do that.
Right. Yeah. So if you love your wallet more than you fear being exposed, let's do it. We all, like, I've always got at least one coaching organization coaching us. I believe in taking my own medicine. As a matter of fact, I've just hired 2 coaching organizations right now in different aspects of it. So yeah, love to do it. You guys are awesome. And this has been really fun talking with you. And I hope we can connect in person someday.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. We'll put that in the show notes. We'll put your website there so they can go and take advantage of that offer. It's an amazing offer. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Remember to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Tim would love to have a review to know that you're sharing some love with him. And I pulled that Bible story out of him. I'm so glad. So remember, if you're looking to publish a book and become a #1 bestseller, remember, we guarantee that for all the authors that we choose to work with. So hit our website, go to the submission button, see if we're a good fit for you. And you're a fit for us. And we'll see you next time. Remember to subscribe. Bye-bye. Have a great week.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.